My favorite part of the show has been watching all the incredibly talented people overcome the obvious obstacles in our way. And I think a lot of the choices that were made, not even because we initially wanted to, are some of the coolest choices I've seen. And my favorite part directly of the show is definitely watching people turn me into a puppet and then watching that puppet yell at an actor. It's really cool.
One of the ways COVID impacted it was that we can't have actors all together on stage, so we instead traded human bodies and human actors for puppets. And it was interesting to change from a costume design to a character design and what their shape and silhouette would be. One of the things I found really fun from it was I wasn't stuck with just human bodies. I could make frog characters and I could make bird characters, and it was a little less limiting to the human form. But yeah, it was definitely a transition to go from costumer brain to what does this character look like outside of just their clothes.
My favorite part about theater is all the precautions that we've been taking, because it makes me feel really safe and able to actually be a part of theater like I normally would. And my favorite part about the show is the hags, because they are the funniest people. And yes.
Hello. So yeah, we're working backstage on the puppets for East of the Sun, West of the Moon. It's been a pretty rad experience. I think it's a lot of fun to work actually in a COVID kind of time, because it's really pushing our kind of limits as creative puppeteers and figuring out, where everything fits best and how to do it safely. It's a really exciting experience, and I don't know, it's been pretty cool so far to work on the show.
Coming to college during this time is nothing like I'd ever expected going to NAU or college would be, especially as a theater major, but I think that the adjustments and all the things that we've done has been really great. Kathleen, especially with our show, using puppeteering and voice acting to really develop our skills. That's actually my favorite thing about this show, is being able to voice act and develop that skill that I never would have had prior.
I think it's just so interesting that we are making theater happen. It's so special because we're artists and we thrive off of creativity, and this is the perfect opportunity to do that. Even though our circumstances aren't ideal, we've created such an amazing show, and with such a perspective that we never would have thought of beforehand. And this is definitely a capstone that I never expected, but we'll also never forget, because I've learned so much and I've really learned how to adapt.
Basically, working in a pandemic has been very odd. I think lighting has been a little easier to adjust than some of the other fields, because most of what we do, you're up on a ladder far away from everyone else anyways. The biggest change has definitely been with crew, because normally your first semester here, you're actually really working on lights and you're working on the shows and you're working and touching all the computers and everything, and that's kind of really been dropped out. We don't even have crew coming in until I think right the week before the show. So it's been super odd, but still super fun. We still love making theater, obviously. We still get to have people in the shop, and even though we're 6 feet apart, we get to hang out and laugh together. So it's been good.
The vision of for the scenic design for the show was completely impacted by how we were doing it. That we knew that we were going to be doing it, that we had to have actors socially, physically distanced, and that we were going to be filming it and it was going to be live streamed rather than a live audience. And we were also, we have limited budgets this year. And so I was working within those parameters from the get-go, and Gabby and Jen, Gabby the costume designer and Jen her advisor, had brought forward the idea of using shadow puppets to realize many of the characters from the get-go. And Grace, who is the assistant lighting designer, had brought in an image of a shadow box. And when I saw that, I just thought that's a perfect way of solving many of the challenges with this show. I am incredibly proud of us for figuring out a way to provide opportunities for students. It's not ideal, it's not perfect, it's not what it was, but everybody everybody across the country is in the same boat, and that we are providing opportunities for our students, I think is outstanding. And I'm incredibly proud of that, and incredibly proud to be involved in that.